with 2 heaping spoonfuls of tabletop. With 2 heaping spoonfuls of tabletop board and card game released, revitalized, announced, and kickstarted each month, several games inevitably capture our collective attention. These are the top 10 games that recently stood out from the crowd to us and are now on our radar. Hi, I'm Paula Deming, and I make the board game sketch comedy series, Things Get Dicey. And this episode is sponsored in part by The Night Cage, a cooperative, horror-themed tile placement game coming to Kickstarter from Smirk and Laughter Games July 14th through August 4th. Trapped and crawling their way through a pitch-black labyrinth, equipped with nothing but dim candles, players must work together to explore the maze they find themselves trapped in and escape. For more information on The Night Cage, you'll find a link to its Kickstarter campaign included in this video's description below. The first blip on our tabletop radar this month is made by Heartland by Pegasus Spiel. This is a 3-dimensional tile laying game, which, if you think about it, goes without saying for every board game that has mass, but Heartland is also a tile laying game played in 3 dimensions because the colorful columns of cardboard crops can accumulate one atop another. When placing tiles, players must choose between scoring victory points immediately or developing their farms, which will provide long-term victory points. Heartland, first published back in 2009, was re-implemented in 2018 as Gun Kimono, with a new theme set in feudal Japan. But this recent resurgence in buzz for the game was likely due, in part, to a recent Reddit post, which listed games that people enjoy that are in need of a facelift. And that Reddit post led to the publication of an article on opinionatedgamers.com covering the same topic. And that article led to this segment about the game which you are watching right now. A segment that, in turn, is about to lead into a new segment about the next game on this month's list. I know. The next game to make a blip on our radar this month is the fully 3-dimensional Volt, in which each player takes control of a rambunctious robot to challenge other players in a fight until only one riveted rival remains rolling. Players control their bot by programming it 3 steps ahead in an effort to anticipate the moves of other robots, aim to destroy them, or try to control spaces in the arena that earn them victory points. 2018's Volt is a revised and extended edition of 2014's game, Volt Robot Battle Arena, designed by Emerson Matsuuchi. And Volt Robot Battle Arena is somewhat reminiscent of 2000's BattleBots, which features the biggest, baddest, strongest, and fastest next-generation robots from all corners of the globe trading haymakers to reign supreme in robot combat sports. And robot combat sports are almost certainly inspired, at least in part, by the tabletop game Rock'em Sock'em Robots, first manufactured by the Marx Toy Company in 1964, a year that the Winter Olympics were hosted in Innsbruck, Austria, a city which originated as an important crossing point over the Inn River that can trace its inhabitants' roots back to the Stone Age, with Stone Age being a vastly popular worker placement game published by Z-Man Games, which does not appear in this month's episode. Next up is Pan Am, in which players compete with Pan American Airways and others to build an air travel empire. Not to be confused with Pam Am, the title of Jenna Fischer's autobiography, or Steve Carell's autobiography Great Scott, What Made Michael Scott Great, or the autobiographical collaboration between Rainn Wilson and Matthew McConaughey, All Dwight, All Dwight, All Dwight. In Pan Am, players outbid rivals for lucrative landing rights, buy planes with longer range to reach the far corners of the world, and use insider connections to advance their interests. As players compete against the ever-growing Pan Am, they can sell their routes to the company to earn a tidy profit, invest in growth, or purchase Pan Am stock for a big payout down the road. But don't wait too long to cash out or you might lose it all because Pan Am ceased operations in December 1991, 27 years after Innsbruck, Austria hosted the Winter Olympics. Coincidence? Attention, players of Roleplayer! Your characters have been called to adventure. In Monsters and Minions, you went to war against Dragul invaders. In Fiends and Familiars, you befriended wild beasts and dispelled cruel spirits. Now your fully formed, battle-hardened heroes must defend the kingdom of Nalos. It's the fantasy world, you could say it any number of ways, and uncover a mystery that lies at the heart of the abandoned lands. Never mind that by entering them they are, technically, no longer abandoned lands. It's just, the maps have been printed and there's no time to go back and update them with the more accurate title of the recently inhabited lands. It's just the way cartography works. Will you slay the giant troll or attempt to make peace? Will you do the vampire's bidding or defend the mysterious cultist he wants to destroy? Will you praise John Krasinski in your autobiography or hint that there was more drama brewing behind the scenes than appeared? Roleplayer Adventures is a cooperative storybook board game for 1 to 4 players set in the world of Roleplayer. Players can either pick from one of 6 pre-generated characters to play or import a character they've developed in previous incarnations of the game, along with any special promo cards, boards, and other attributes it may have. Roleplayer Adventures is running a campaign on Kickstarter through Friday, July 17th. Next up is Back to the Future Dice Through Time, in which Biff has stolen the DeLorean and went on a joyride through time, disrupting events and scattering three-dimensional items through space and time. Great Scott! In this cooperative dice game, players take control of a DeLorean and travel through the entire Back to the Future film trilogy, yes, even the one with the train, which I do love, completing memorable events and returning key items to their proper place and time before the out-of-time tracker reaches game over. An indication that the activity has ended and not a direction to flip the board to its other side as originally instructed to me by a former member of my game group. Game over. Each round, players will roll dice to determine the available actions, which include time travel, moving meddling members of the Tannen family, and more. So jump in your time machine, complete events, and return items because the fate of the future is in your hands. You have only mere seconds to spare as you help Doc and Marty repair the space-time continuum before time paradoxes unravel the very fabric of the universe. In fact, you have just enough seconds available to first enjoy this quick break featuring a word from our sponsor. Yeah, there's definitely enough time for that because advertising various goods and services is what keeps the space-time continuum continuing. The next game on this month's list is the prestigious Paula's Pick.
And now it's time for seeing Paula's Pick.
Have you been searching for a game that is filled with magic and mystery in 3 dimensions? Is your gaming group looking to replace pages and pages of rules with pages and pages of pages? If not, then I don't know what to say to you. I'm not prepared. I don't have a response ready for that. But if so, then look no further than the Shivers. The Shivers is a one-of-a-kind tabletop experience that features handcrafted pop-ups combined with spooky puzzle-solving mysteries and role-playing. Mystery unfolds as players explore a magical mansion. Each of the game's cooperative episodes takes about an hour to play, with one player taking the lead as the storyteller. The game begins by introducing several simple rules, allowing players to get up and running in less than 5 minutes. Similar to an escape room in structure and feel, but on a much smaller scale, players can get immediately immersed in the mystery, discovering the right path forward as they progress. The Shivers is the game on my personal radar this month because, just think about all of the things that I just said to describe it and what you know about me and my taste in games. It's got storytelling, it's got role-playing, it's got puzzle solving, it's got mystery, it's got pop-ups, 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 pop-up books. I don't know really what else I need to say, but pop-up books. Pop-up books. Pop-up books. Pop-up books. Pop-up books. Pop-up books. Like popping out. Pop. I don't know. It's so good. The Shivers, coming soon to Kickstarter, provides piles of puzzles to ponder and play presented on plentiful pop-up pages. I'm beginning to not hate the alliteration. Is this Stockholm Syndrome? In the card game Race for the Galaxy, which comes in at number 4 this month, players build galactic civilizations by playing game cards in front of them that represent world or technical and social developments. At the beginning of each round, players each select, secretly and simultaneously, one of the 7 roles which correspond to the phases in which the round progresses. By selecting a role, players activate that phase for this round, giving each player the opportunity to perform that phase's action, while the player who has chosen the role receives a bonus that applies only to them, such as bonus actions, resources, or stock options in their roommate's boyfriend's new tech startup. The game's publisher, Rio Grande Games, recently confirmed that a reprint of Race for the Galaxy is currently in transit and will be arriving on shelves in game stores and shopping mall shoeshine kiosks this summer. This reprint includes both the base game and the standalone Jump Drive card game that is set in the same universe. Attention skippers! The next game pinging prominently on the radar this month is the Disney Jungle Cruise adventure game, a mystery and deduction game based on the world-famous Disney Parks attraction, the Disney Jungle Cruise. In the game, players become intrepid skippers transporting valuable cargo and passengers through the jungle. What is their destination? An ancient jungle temple, a foreboding underwater cavern housing unnamed secrets, or Jungle Cruise Navigation corporate headquarters? It's the third one. But I hear corporate HQ has a vending machine with Fresca in it, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Along the way towards grapefruit citrus refreshment, players collect clues to determine which passengers may be appointed as company caretakers, which will be worth more points at the end of the game. They'll also collect lost passengers and cargo along the way. How frequently does this company lose passengers at sea? Oh, according to this Yelp review, it's a lot. When the first player reaches headquarters, they may collect a tip token. Once all players have arrived, the new caretakers are revealed and players add up their scores. Passengers belonging to the caretaker family are worth more points, and the player with the most points, most valuable cargo, wins the game and gets to lead the next expedition searching for batches of passengers who somehow manage to continually go missing during these well-monitored 40-minute tourist excursions. Also, the vending machine is out of Fresca. At number 2 is Godspeed by Pandasaurus Games, which takes place in an alternate timeline in which the space race was just a diversion to justify massive governmental projects in order to be the first nation to step foot on Minos, a tiny planet worth big rewards. Godspeed is a mid-weight worker placement game of extraterrestrial colonization for 2 to 5 players, played over the course of 10 rounds, which typically plays in 60 to 90 minutes. In this game of exoplanet colonization, various nations exploit the natural resources of the newly found planet Minos in the shadow of the Cold War. The player who best establishes their foothold on the new planet will win the game. At the end of the final round, each nation counts up the victory points they have earned from their position on the prestige tracks, their civilization milestones, lunar season scoring, and other bonuses they have earned. And the nation with the most victory points is proclaimed the winner of the desolate, lifeless, frozen planetoid over 250,000 miles from Earth. Meanwhile, I'm going across the street to get a smoothie. Enjoy your prize. And the game that made the biggest blip on our radar this month is the Terraforming Mars Big Box, which recently wrapped up its Kickstarter campaign after around 23,000 backers raised over $2.7 million to finance its production. That's like every gamer. All of them. The Terraforming Mars Big Box is not only a storage solution for all of the Terraforming Mars material released to date, including the base game, 5 expansions, and the first player rover, but it also includes a set of 3D terrain tiles to dress up the game. 'Cause you don't want your game to be too casual, you want it to be dressed up. It's a sign of respect that your game dresses up a little to impress you when you get together. That was so weird. Why would I say that? Included in this bulky box of bits are 24 city tiles in 6 different designs, 40 forest tiles in 5 different designs, 9 ocean tiles, 14 special tiles, including 3 new ones and their corresponding cards, card dividers, and 5 plastic markers for the various global parameters. Terraforming Mars, first published in 2016, continues to be a consistently popular game, often appearing at the top of each month's list of the most popular and most played games. So it's no surprise that this big upgrade is going to be seen on a lot of gaming tables, like 23,000 gaming tables, after its scheduled release date next spring. Those are the games that are on the radar as of July 2020. For more new and noteworthy board game news, including games with momentum and ones we're rooting for, be sure to check out the other videos we post on this channel too. Until next time, I'm Paula Deming from Things Get Dicey in association with Pair of Dice Paradise for Watch It Played. Bye y'all.